Again, this is my tutorial on how to install a Hackintosh operating system, namely High Sierra, onto the Optiplex by Dell 790, and this might work for other computers, but I know this one works on the Dell Optiplex 790. So I use Olarila, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this is the web page that shows how to do it, and I will include that in the description. But I'm going to show you how to do it on a Mac. You can install the setup system on a PC. Okay, and here, right here, which is listed here, this page right here, this is it. This is where you would get your the file that it contains the operating system. So I am using High Sierra, so you would click on either link 1 or link 2, and this will, they're hosting it on Google, and you would hit download. Now this is the compressed copy. You have to uncompress it, and then that is a raw file. So I will show you that right here. It's in my downloads. Okay, here's my downloads. Okay, so right here, this is the Olarila High Sierra raw file, and it's been uncompressed from this version. So as we go to here, we're going to extract the image using the standard Apple to extract the image. Then you have to format the USB stick. Also, what you also want to do is you want to format the SSD that you're going to need to install Apple on the operating system. I'm saying SSD because there's no room for another spinner in here, because I have Windows 10 running on this as well. So you need to both burn the USB, and you need to format the SSD before you get started, and I'll show you why a bit later. So let me go pull up my applications, and in the applications folder is a thing called Tina Etcher, or something to that effect. Okay, so you open up that, and that's down here. So you select an image, and you're going to select this, which is the Olarila High Sierra raw file, and you open that, and you'll see your USB disk, and so you would do that. Oh, didn't select. You gotta select the image twice for some reason. Let's try this again. Anyway, it's being a pain in the ass. I don't know. You select the image, and then you select the media, and then you flash it. I don't know. Oh, here we go. It sees it. Okay, there we go. Now, so you would, I'm just being impatient. So you have the source, you're burning it to this scan disk, and then you flash it. Now mine's already been burned, so I'm not going to hit flash. Okay, so I'm going to quit that. That will give you, which is this up here, which is the install for the operating system. So we are going to close that. Again, you also want to, here you want to use, if you're using a Mac, you want to format the USB, and you want to format the SSD. If you don't have a Mac and you're running Windows, you want to get, I use Transmac. Just scrolling down here. They use something called Win32 Disk Imager, which will then, you can use that to create the startup USB, and you should be able to use it to format your SSD as a Macintosh operating system ready to go SSD. So that's done. So we're going to quit out of this, and I'm going to quit Chrome. And our goal is to have the computer be like this. So we're going to restart. Now, you're going to want to go into your BIOS on your computer and tell it to start off the USB. That's the only real change you have to do to the computer. Everything else you can leave stock. You can try to get it to run UEFI. I didn't have any success, and it works fine running legacy. So it has a bit of a procedure actually restarting the Mac. I'm running a NVIDIA 2 GB card. NVIDIA is no longer supported by Apple, so the only operating system I can run that's current is High Sierra. I cannot run Mojave, and I would never want to run Catalina. Okay, so what you want to do here, sometimes it boots in and you don't have to do this, but for this particular time I'm going to hit USB device, and normally if I want to restart the computer I would select boot file vault pre-booter form pre-boot, but I'm not really sure what that means. But for our situation, we're going to boot the Mac OS install from Olarilla High Sierra, and you see it's 10.13.6, which means it's already been updated to the latest version of High Sierra, so you don't have to go through all the updates and stuff. It's already been updated. So I am going to hit return, and you're going to see a lot of this text coming down. I am now going to take a break because my dog wants to go out. So I'm going to shut this off, and when I come back, I'm going to be running the Mac operating system. We are back. It's been about 20 minutes at least for all the stuff to load. So here we are, and it's loading the Apple install. This takes a while. Now this is not the Apple operating system. This is the install from Olarilla. So just watch that tiny little bit finish. Again, we're starting up off of the Olarilla USB that we burned a few minutes ago. Well, that you burned a few minutes ago. Okay. So now we've got a mouse. This is the part where I told you you have to format the SSD for the Macintosh extended journals or whatever they call it. You have to do that ahead of time because there is no application here to format your drive. Okay, so you select your language. Mine is English. And Mac OS. Now let me see what it says here. Continue. And you would continue. And you would agree. And you'll see that I have, you can't install it on that. You would select this and install Mac OS. Don't worry about customize, just leave it alone. So I am not going to do that. Let me take a second. Oh, there is utilities. Okay, I was wrong. When you're at this point, you go to disk utility. So I'm not completely wrong. You would, here's my OS 10 drive. So I would, you can format the drive from here. So you click erase and you're going to format it. Obviously I don't want to do that. So this is where you would do it, and you hit continue and you install Macintosh OS on your SSD that's been formatted. So for now I am going to restart. Okay, so we're going back into the restart thing. Takes a little bit longer to restart because we're running off the USB. Okay. So waiting for the number 6 to pop up. There's my 6. So we have to do this. Sometimes it bypasses this. So we're going to start off the USB device again. And this time we're going to start off boot file vault pre-booter from pre-boot. So I'm going to hit this and you're going to see that, and I am going to stop the video because there's another 5 minutes of it starting the computer, and that's kind of boring. We have now booted into OS 10, and you can see that I've got my programs. So what are we going to do? What are you going to have to do to get this thing running good? First thing you have to do is you got to go to Settings, or System Preferences. If you're using a NVIDIA card, there'll be a NVIDIA thing here. You want to click on that and do whatever you can to uninstall the NVIDIA drivers because they don't work. The whole idea is to get rid of them and then run the computer natively. Okay, so that covers your video. Now you got to deal with audio. So we got to go here to About This Mac, and you'll see I have a 3.9 gigahertz Core i5, 8 gigs of RAM, which running off an SSD is pretty good. Also, you can see that I'm running a GeForce G7. Okay, now you'll see here that I've got audio. I've got built-in input, I've got built-in output, and I've got HDMI. When you set up your computer from scratch, like if you have just done it, you're not going to have any audio. So how do we fix that? Well, we are going to show you an application that all Hackintosh guys know really well, which is Clover Configurator. So this looks very daunting. It's got a lot of all these things, and I've gone through with various computers. We to go this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. With this system, all you got to do is mount your EFI. So you'll see that here it is, the Untitled High Sierra, and there's your EFI partition that's on your computer. But we're focused on the mounting the partition on the USB. Put in my password and open the partition. So what we've got here, you have to navigate to from, again, I go open up EFI, Clover, Kex, Other. Now inside of here is Apple ALC.kext, which I have in my downloads folder, which I did have in my downloads folder. Well, anyway, so Maybe it's in documents, hold on. Well, it was there, but be that as it may, it's here now. So you need to download this, Apple ALC.kext, and you drag it from wherever it is on your computer, like in your download folder, and drag it over into this folder. It's the other folder that's inside of the kext folder. There's your EFI partition. So again, EFI, Clover, kext, other, and you drag and drop that in. And when you restart your computer, you will have audio. If you have a HDMI on your video card, then that will also include HDMI. So I have audio here. Now the only thing is on my TV. I mean, this is a TV. I don't have control over the volume on the computer, but I have a volume on my TV remote, so that's no big deal. Okay, so there's that. Once you've done that and you restart, you'll be okay. So I'm going to quit this. The other thing you have to do is go to the App Store. You have to make an account with Apple, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get the updates. So you can see here that I have a software update and security update. I've already installed the other security update. I also installed the update for Safari, iTunes, and Final Cut. You would click on that and you would update it. Now, don't get discouraged if it doesn't work the first time. Sometimes it'll skip and stutter, but you know, the machine will work without it, but you know, you always want to be updated on your security stuff. But you don't have to update the operating system. It's already at 10.13.6, which is a good thing. What else? On your mouse, you want to deselect scroll direction natural. I don't know why it's backwards. If you hit natural, it's goofy. What else? You can set up your iCloud. You know how you want the dock to work. I have mine hidden, and I go from quite small to very large. And these are all my programs, but that's a separate thing. The only thing I suggest that you either get somewhere, either pay for it or whatever other means, is a program called Little Snitch. Little Snitch is a oh my god, I can't think of the word. You need Little Snitch. It stops the computer from calling home on the various programs that you've got. So let's see. This is my network monitor, and you'll see all these little red checks. That means that I don't want it. I'm blocking all of these things, and the blue things, the blue checks mean I'm allowing them. So it's a firewall. There we go. So it's a firewall. Now, the other thing, this is the firewall going out. So we're going to go back. We're going to go to security and privacy, and we're going to unlock that. And you want to have App Store and identified developers. If you try to install a program that's not an identified developers, the computer's going to tell you you can't install it, but you have to reopen the security and privacy, and there will be a notice that this program is trying to be installed, and you just let it, you say allow it. So then it'll install the program. The other thing you got is you have a firewall for programs receiving information from. So what you would do, you would hit Firewall Options, and you can see all of these different programs that I've blocked. So you would hit plus, and then it always wants you to, it's always going to be green, so you change it to red, and that way you're blocking the firewall on the other end, because you don't want your information leaking out. So other than that, that's pretty much it. Let me just eject my EFI partition. If you have any questions, let me know. I would suggest that you join a Hackintosh user group, on Facebook. There are several of them. I belong to a main one, and I belong to the Olarila one. There are several people there that will help you if you get stuck, especially if you're having a problem with your video card. Because the only thing I know about is NVIDIA. There's several other makers of video cards, and you could go in and ask them which one to get, especially because you need to get one for you. That's a small profile computer if it's a Dell. If it's a full-size computer you're trying to work with, then the sky's the limit. The people at Olarila don't like Tony Mac, but you can go to Tony Mac, which is another Hackintosh operation, and they have lists of peripherals for all kinds of things, and they will give you, you can find a list there of compatible video cards for your computer. The compatible video cards for the small format people like the Dell optiplex 790 are limited because they only have 2 gigabytes max of RAM on them. They don't have like 4 or 8. If you want to be doing video editing and stuff like that, this is not the computer for you. You want a workstation, but for this, it works great. And here's my displays. I'm running this at 1080p at 60 hertz. And as you can see, the other thing is, one more thing, if you're going to run TV, what will happen is you will not see the top here. This will be off screen unless you get rid of overscan. So if you get rid of overscan, then you see that you've got a much smaller window. You're losing about an inch at the top and bottom and about 1.5 inches on the side. So you want to overscan. But when you overscan, sometimes your TV will be too much overscan. So you got to go into your TV and finagle, like I did on mine, and find whatever setting it is and mess around and see if you can get rid of the giant overscan. So that's pretty much it. I'm also using a really cool USB Wi-Fi that's getting me really good speed. I might put a link in that because they're pretty good guys. Just open up all my tabs here. You'll see that my speed is this is wireless, so you'll see my speed is 144 or something. Sometimes it hits 235 depending, and my router's in the other room. So I have a 5G router, and this USB Wi-Fi is 5G. It's got a big giant antenna on it, and this is great. You got 200 megabytes per second, and you're wireless. So that's the end of this tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know, and happy Hackintoshing.